Our whole family structure was enslaved. You know how cruel that is to enslave fucking children and somebody's wife and not give them basic rights. On the opposite side of that, Dr. Anderson said we had no rights. In ancient enslavement, the Catholic Church accepted slaves as humans and intervened on their behalf. With us, most religions supported slavery and intervened on the behalf of the slave holders, offering biblical justification. Isn't that weird? Why did they... Go ahead.
We're the only group that had an epic rise from an oppressive situation that did not try to oppress other people. Everyone else stepped right out of the gas chamber, moved over to America, and began to be racist immigrants here toward Black Americans and sometimes each other. When you speak about the interactions between Polish and Italians and Jews in the neighborhoods and on the East Coast, they enjoy being white supremacists and are white supremacists now with the genocide that they're carrying out. So they didn't learn these lessons that we learned. We learned how to be humanitarians, and the other groups, no matter what oppression they're coming from, we could take in all these Palestinians and they'll come right over here and call the police on the next George Floyd. So they don't learn any lessons no matter how much beat down they get. I mean, it doesn't get much beat down than what's going on now in Gaza. It doesn't get much more of a beat down what went on in those gas chambers. You saw literally the bowels of hell. You saw some of the worst things you're ever going to see coming out of a human being's expression. So if they didn't learn the lesson from that, we learned our lesson, and we have humanitarian behaviors. We don't want to go over to some other country and beat another group of people down. We don't even act like that. We just don't do that, and the other groups do.
Yeah,
we can see that.
That's one of the issues that separates us from the Haitian Revolution. The Haitians had they fought up and beat the shit out their oppressors and ran them back to France. But the moment they got their foot in the door, they juxtaposed what Wani said. They turned around and tried to enslave their own people to try to take their turn at being the oppressor. Another difference between ancient enslavement and our enslavement, let's look at this. Slavery in ancient enslavement, slavery was viewed as a temporary and unfortunate social condition. It was some shit you got yourself into or conditions fell upon your shoulders. Well, what was very unique about our enslavement is black slavery, according to Dr. Claude Anderson, was permanent and inherited. That was not normal to have a group of people that were inherited slavery. Last one I'm going to read for now is in ancient slavery, governments did not use their powers to exploit any racial group for private wealth and power. Governments didn't do that. Individuals did that. And maybe nobility did that. In our enslavement, European nations and colonial powers conspired to manipulate and enslave blacks in order to develop the new world. We are truly foundational to this country. We developed this shit through oppression. So I guess that alone proves that ass whoopings can create excellence. Go ahead, FBA final boss. FBA, can you hear me?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, hey, how y'all doing? I heard the word amazing used in reference to the Haitian Revolution, if I'm not mistaken, right? And I think I heard, they kicked France's ass, and I think I heard that too, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah. My only issue with that is, you can draw parallels between the Haitian Revolution and what the colonizers did when they came to America, what they did to our indigenous ancestors. both the Haitians who were, fighting against the French occupation and the settlers that came over to this continent, they both used biological warfare uh, against their enemy. So, you know about the blankets, the smallpox, and the filth and diseases that the Europeans carried with them was responsible for, killing off about 90% of that population. Majority of that was, to my understanding, was done not through bloodshed, but because of their European diseases and their lack of hygiene, their affinity for, animals, for trysts with animals per se. And, in the Haitian Revolution, what I've read is that about 90% of Napoleon's troops they died from yellow fever, right? So it wasn't like actually Haitians actually stepped on 90% of those soldiers. Not to mention Napoleon had sent Polish mercenaries over there with the French troops, and this was a time where Poland was trying to secure its own future, right? So they thought working with France, that would be a good alliance, right? And when they got over there, they turned on Napoleon and they fought on the side of the Haitians as well. So now you have two factors: 90% of his troops were wiped out by yellow fever that the Haitians had already developed an immunity to. They were already familiar with it. They had already been exposed to it. They were assisted by Polish mercenaries that defected. Even to this day, also, before I said that, they were given the status of Blanc, B-L-A-N-C, which is, I guess that's, some people would say that's their black. I don't know if I want to do that, but they were given that special status under the law over there. And you have these people, these mixed people, Polish Haitian people called the Polone or Polone. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but they're still over there to this day. And they descend from those Polish mercenaries that defected. Also, if I'm not mistaken, there were other European powers that blockaded Napoleon from sending reinforcements. Can anybody, if anybody knows anything about that, I'd like to get a little more information about that. But all in all, you're talking about maybe them fighting, 10% of Napoleon's troops with the assistance of Polish mercenaries. So while I guess it is a great feat that they were able to get their independence, I don't like when they try to compare that to what we did, over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you look at the amount of time, it's not really comparable. This is the first I've heard of the Polish. I'd like to, if you got scholarship on that, please give it to me, because I haven't heard that. But I respectfully would kind of disagree with the Europeans blockading the reinforcements, namely because Jacob Carruthers in The Irritated Genie talks about how Europeans galvanized once the Haitian Revolution popped off, because they realized even though Europeans didn't agree with each other, they were killing each other. They were at war with each other. Europeans viewed this, the English and the French collectively looked at these group of melanated people rising up and viewed that as a threat, and they galvanized to come up with a plan to further enslave the melanated world. The Haitian Revolution caused the Europeans to shift from physical slavery to mental slavery. So maybe I'd have to see the scholarship on that. I haven't read that, but according to Dr. Carruthers, the Haitian Revolution is what caused this mental slavery we've been dealing with for the last 400 years or so, 300, how many years? But yeah, I will agree with you, FBA Final Boss, that it's not equatable to our long fight with the system of white supremacy, because they had like one big victory and then they were like, fuck it, I want white daddy back. We never wanted white daddy back. We don't want him now.
Yeah, I agree. And, they wiped out. That's like, Europeans saying that they conquered America. Really, your filth and your disease is what paved the way for you to take this country, take this landmass. That if they were hygienic people, if they had actually followed the instructions of the Moors who set up those bathhouses over there and taught them about hygiene, which white supremacists to this very day they reject it. If they had, actually kept that and integrated it into whatever their culture is, who knows if they would have had as much success or, maybe I feel like the landscape would have looked different, even if they did, end up victorious. I don't know if they would have wiped out as many people in the process. But I posted in the Jumbotron about the Polone. I know I'm probably butchering that. But it's Pologene. I don't know what's silent. I don't know. That's what they're called.
Wow.
That's what they're called. Yeah. So yeah, food for thought.
That's interesting, brother. Thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna look into that now. I'm gonna look into that later on. But back to your point about disease, the disease issue you brought up is absolutely true with the South American conquest. Europeans have taken credit. The Spanish and the Portuguese have taken credit for wiping out South America. But according to several scholars, it wasn't their military might that wiped out South America. It was the disease. It was so bad that Pizarro, I'm pretty sure it was Pizarro, got lost. It was either Pizarro or Cortez. I think it was Pizarro. Well, one of them got lost on the boat and got trapped in the Amazon River and just had to ride it out all the way through the South American continent. And in the captain's log, they identified that so many people had died from smallpox and filth and disease that they had to stay below in the deck of the ship because the smell on the river from dead people was just unbearable. So yeah, everything about their power is just a narrative. It's a lie. But I'm so proud and so happy that we are countering the narrative and they're falling to pieces. Did y'all hear Tariq's face the other day with the angry Karen lady? Like, they can't play their little "I'm innocent, I didn't do anything wrong" game. I would say that we really open that door to our brothers and sisters to educate them, to let them know that this narrative game is not going to work. We're going to deal with facts, or we're not going to deal at all. And they have nothing to counter the fact. It doesn't matter with their Harvard degrees and Yale degrees. You cannot argue with the truth, and we're hitting them with truth, and they're falling to pieces.
I was gonna tap in on the first question. Do ass whooping / abuse create excellence? And my thought on that is that there's the difference between abuse and discipline is just a lack of balance. Somebody went overboard. So when we look at these foundational Black Americans, for instance, the Jackson Five or the Jackson children, because pretty much all of those Jackson children had access to whatever, musically, entertainment-wise, whatever. You look at Beyonce, Destiny's Child, other groups of people that were mentioned, Ike, Tina, whatever. These people, most of the time, people want to say, and I want to be careful about the different types of people used as examples, because some people don't see their parents as, see my quotes, abusive.
Kush,
You're breaking up.
Okay, I thought that was me. You breaking up?
Let's mention El DeBarge. Very, very violent father. Excellent group. Am I still breaking up?
Yeah, you breaking up, Kush.
Oh, maybe do I need to come back up? Because I have no idea why I'm breaking up.
Yeah, come down and come back up. Yeah, in the arts, we see that very clearly, that great oppression can sharpen artists in our culture to as great tools. earlier, Wani brought up Marvin Gaye. I think his dad used to try to beat him to death. His dad ended up killing him, didn't he?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go into all that. His father was, first of all, he was a cross-dresser and a jealous bitch. But he was just a jealous, weird, confused, sexual deviant who was extremely mean. Like I said, there's another element of fear. It's not just beating you. It's not just getting the hickory stick and whips and belts. It's not like that. There's an emotional element to the abuse that just pushes you into another state of mind.
Yeah, it turns into you can channel it, and we're good at channeling it into something else. Our sister Mary J. Blige and I think she's an underrated talent in my personal opinion, but she was abused right into the limelight. You know what I'm saying? She channeled it into something, into greatness. You know, so many great stories of this. You know, of turning a negative into a positive. Kush, I'm sending you co-host now again. Yeah, other examples. We could look at even Michael Jordan, although he wasn't abused by his father per se. Michael Jordan was made fun of, like he was abused by his peers. People often forget that Michael Jordan. When he started playing basketball,
what Michael Jordan for?
Well, when Michael started playing, like people
What happened?
thought he was sorry as hell and used to make fun of him. And I'm using him as a good example because Michael, at some point, and I'm paraphrasing him, Jordan turned that into fuel, which is why a lot of people, including myself, say that he was a nasty person. I say this because in Birmingham, he played baseball. If y'all remember, he played baseball with the Birmingham Barons, and he was very rude to us.
Black students, we need to know our history.
The black history we're being taught in public schools is repetitive.
As a black high school student, I want to learn more about my history in the school books.
We need to update our books.
As black American students, we deserve an accurate depiction of what history truly is.
I want to see myself in these textbooks.
In the public school system, black history is vague.
Why don't the school books ever talk about the Freedmen's Bureau?
I created the workbook for the African American family. This book helps fill in the gaps that the school books don't. Purchase the workbook for the African American family on ourstorypublications.com and use the Cash App $Our Story Publications.